Good morning, everybody. Never ever bleach your hair after you've put henna in it. That's all I've got to say for today. Goodbye. Not really. Look. Oh man, oh man. I look like that woman from The Fifth Element. Do you remember that film? The Fifth Element. If only I'd sort all this shit out in about 5 minutes. Anyway. So, one of my subscribers yesterday talked about feelings of disgust. I take that to mean disgust with self. Well, you know, there are an endless array of emotions that we feel, most of them, in fact, very unpleasant. They're programs. They are feelings. Feelings are an emanation of beliefs that we have about ourselves and our place in this world. It's false identity stuff, you know. It's programmed identity. It's PTSD, disgust, shame, guilt. You know, for me, I was raised in a very religious household, and so the notion of sin came up a lot, and as a result, there's this fear of, oh, I'm being punished, I'm unworthy. I mean, there are so many different, this is no way that I can possibly put this in a nutshell or put this in any kind of simple way, because you see, the way of the Archon parasites is to make things very, very complicated and convoluted. And so we exist, all of us, in a state of, like I said before, PTSD-esque murkiness at all times. And our emotions and our thoughts, when we go into awareness, show us where we are at, and they show us very clearly what we think about ourselves and what we feel about ourselves. Sometimes we don't even know why we think that, or why we feel that, or why we feel like doing this or going there. We don't know, because we don't always remember things. We don't remember, when you've had a really traumatic childhood, you don't always remember everything. You know, you've got these like big missing bits. It's like trying to read a book with like half the pages missing or something. It's really annoying. Suffice it to say that these feelings are not facts. Remember that. They're not facts. Nobody, not a one of you, including me, is disgusting or dirty or bad or guilty or sinful. God knows, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You know, ugly, stupid, worthless. Those are all programs. The biggest wound, remember, the biggest wound is you are so worthless, you don't deserve to exist at all. And there's a great deal of self-loathing, which is the poison soil. And then there's a great deal of fear. Fear is a massive part of the equation as well, of course, but all of it springs from the poison soil. Now, it's all a lie and it's all an illusion, people. But all your life, until your awakening, gradually, you've lived believing it to be the truth. So I liken it really, it's like you spent your entire life with Jim Jones in the People's Temple and you've just left. And you're just starting to work out that it was all a load of bullshit. It's like you've been stuck in a cult your whole life, the cult of self-hate, and you're just coming out of it and you're beginning to realise that it's all bullshit, but here you are feeling like absolute shit, and we're going through these massive shifts, right? Wave after wave after wave. We're getting triggered massively, which is all part of that shift. I mean, fucking, in the end, I mean, like, yesterday was one of those days where I actually felt triggered by being triggered. It was like, oh God, it was all too much. I had to go to Totnes, which is a little town near here, because I had to get some catnip. My cats, you know, I only have that particular catnip. It's organic and it's in Neil's yard, and they're like, that's the only catnip we want. I can give them anything else. They just put their nose up and go, that's foul, mother. I don't want it. Take it away. So I had to get that particular catnip, and it was market day, and there were all these people everywhere, and it was just... My shadow mind was doing overtime, because it's very Aries at the moment, you know, everything is Aries, very energetic, very much like, yeah, come on, people, come on, let's get this shit sorted. But Aries is very impetuous, and it's always in a rush, and it wants it now. In fact, it wants it like yesterday. And that is not the right approach, because, like I said the other day, was it yesterday? Everything is very acute, everything is picked up a massive pace, and it's like, you know. So we need to be very present with it all, really, and to really be like, okay, what's this about, what's that about? And that in itself wears you out, it makes you very tired. So that doesn't necessarily work for everybody. It works for me to kind of understand what's happening. But for other people, they don't need to do that, they can just feel. So whichever way works best for you, you know, just anything I say, only take that which resonates and just chuck the rest. Basically, the state that we find ourselves in, that is gradually being alchemized and reintegrated here, including all these really heavy, dark feelings that make you feel like you want to crawl out of your own body. It's all about the fractured psyche, you know, the PTSD, the self-betrayal. See, here's the thing, and I've said this before, it's energetic terraforming. This is what the Archon mind parasites do, because they are, believe it or not, in essence, utterly fucking powerless. The Archons, they have no power, which is why they use us. They get us stuck in this illusionary world, in this illusionary sense of self, in order to get us to create the environment in which they like to live. They're powerless, you see, they are. And all these feelings and torturous, agonizing thoughts and feelings and other nuances, I know how murky it gets. Ooh, wow, it's like, I know. And it is gut-wrenching at times, and our bodies react to this clearing out, cleansing, alchemizing, composting business. They do. We get all kinds of aches and pains and rashes and diseases that come, and the doctors go, oh, I've no idea what that is, or they do know what it is, but it'll clear up by itself. You know what I mean? Healing crisis. It's okay, people. This is what it is. At the core of it, it's a healing crisis. But it feels incredibly... I keep dreaming. I kept seeing this metal instrument, and at first it made me think of an episode in Star Trek Voyager where the Voyager ship is infiltrated by these aliens that are invisible, and are doing these medical experiments on the crew, and only 7 of 9 can see them in the end, and obviously they get their asses kicked. But they had these kind of weird implements as well. But I worked out that it wasn't that. That was my victim, you see, that was my victim programming going, see, you're being tortured, it hates you. It turns out it's a tuning fork, Somebody wants to come in, sorry. Oh, come on then. Do you want to come on? Alright. Do you want to say hello? You say hello to everybody. This is Toto, aka the little one. Not so little now. Hey, you're gonna eat mother out of house and home. Yes. It's chicken day today, isn't it? Anyway, where was I? God. Oh. yeah, right. Tuning fork. Tuning fork. See, because that is what it's all about, people. It's about frequency, it's about sound, it's about some kind of stuff that we don't actually have words for, which is why we call it energy or electricity or frequency or bandwidth or whatever. But it is, of course, none of those things. They're just fucking words. But the tuning fork is being applied mostly as well to our nervous system, you see, because that's where it's at. Nervous system is slavery. And it's all being cleared up. But we have to go through it to come out. That's part of the deal. Because it's a quest, you see. We're not here to be martyrs or to suffer or any of... No. We're here to distill something. To get the essence of something. To learn to use our power... because we are very powerful beings, but of course the archonic mind parasites have made us believe the exact opposite, and it's all an illusion. So feelings aren't facts. A lot of these crappy toxic thoughts that you get in your head are not your thoughts. They're not your thoughts. So learn to let go and say, hey, that's a horrible thought and it's actually made me feel the shit, but it isn't my thought. I didn't actually really think that, and I can let that go. It's all about keep on letting go, keep on detaching. Imagine you're holding on to a balloon, keep letting it go, because those thoughts are not yours. Watch them, observe them. Imagine sitting there and watching them and then asking, what is that thought telling me? What is that trying to show me? What is this feeling trying to show me? And then follow those feelings and those thoughts back, because they will show you what's going on within you that needs to be loved. Because again, it's soul retrieval in a way, isn't it? Love is what it's all about, but of course we don't really know how to love. We think love is Barry White or something like that, or Bill Withers. It's not. Love is a very powerful force. It's a magical force, and it can work miracles and magic. Because of course, what have we known? We've known self-betrayal. We have known self-abandonment, self-attack, even self-gaslighting. That's what those thoughts are, It's all gaslighting nonsense. If you think about your parents and how they raised you, when you have done something wrong, that's all gaslighting nonsense as well, because actually mistakes are very good and they're very important. But it's perceived, it's all perception, you've done something wrong. Well, all hell breaks loose, you get, because they think, that means you won't do it again. And actually that just brutalizes you and makes you do it again, another time and another time and another time. I mean, the prisons are full of people being brutalized who will do it again and again and again and again and again. It's all... self-love and self-forgiveness. And by forgiveness I don't mean, you've done something wrong. No. By forgiveness is saying, hey, you are beautiful and you are pure and you are precious and I love you just as you are. You're going through a really hard time because you've lived in this illusion, in this murky underworld all your life, and it's all you remember. But none of that was true. It's all a lie. Now you don't believe that yet, but you will. And I'm going to show you the way out of this. Tune in and love yourself. Start to nurture yourself. Start to have your own back. Start to have your front. Start to have your above and below and your sides. And be your own best friend. Be your own mother. And pray. I pray, I don't pray to the demiurge, obviously, but I pray to the Great Mother. I ask for help, and it always comes to me, one way or another. We're not alone in this. I know this. There are guides, there is guiding energy, there is great intuition, there is so much synchronicity which shows up, telling us that we are, on the right way. This is about inner reconciliation, you know, soul aspects that need to be loved back into wholeness, and there is a wholeness. I call it reconciliation, right? So it's all about reconciliation, so that we are whole again. And then the veils will begin to part, like peeling an onion, more and more showing us the truth of who and what we are. And that is something to really look forward to, because another subscriber said to me that during his awakening, he's beginning to find out that he is so much more than he was given to believe. Well, this is a fact. When you've thought of yourself as small and rotten and dirty and disgusting and bad and undeserving, and then you come out of that and you realize that that's all been a complete lie and utter bullshit, and that you are actually this really amazing, magical, radiant being, and that this is a kind of school, and that you're going to go from that extreme darkness to profound light, beauty, radiance, and being able to create incredibleness. Some of you already sense this, others may not, but you will. It will be okay. I mean, mistakes and getting it wrong, when you've been very traumatized as a child, and you were shown how to be a certain way by the people around you, you're gonna act that way. You don't know any different. You were programmed to be that way. So whatever you did wrong, you've hurt other people, you might have even mistreated animals because you didn't really know any different, or whatever has happened, whatever you have done, it is time to understand that you wouldn't do that here now, would you? No, because you know better now, because you've grown. Which shows that back then, you didn't understand and you didn't know. Hence, ergo, it's time to forgive yourself, to understand that there is no blame. There is no blame, and you're free already. You really are. And it's all this gaslighty nonsense going on in your shadow mind. But you can work through that. You can keep letting go, and you can move further into self-love, because you're not guilty at all. You never were. It wasn't your fault. It's like when Jesus, I mean, he was hanging on the cross, you know, having his glass of wine and his spliff, going, "Oh, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do." It's a bit like that. We did not know what we were doing at all. I mean, goodness me, I did incredibly stupid stuff, and I hurt people, and I wasn't even able to look after the rats that I had back then properly, and this, that and the other. I mean, so much, and I felt such a terrible burden of guilt, crushing, bone shattering. But I don't know, because I know that I really didn't know. I wasn't functioning. I was really deeply wounded and fucked up, and it wasn't my fault. I didn't do it to myself. And the people that did it to me, I don't blame them either, because they were really fucked up and they didn't do that to themselves. It runs in the bloodlines, people. We inherit our shadow. We have this collective shadow, the collective wound, which you see manifest in the world all around us. And still we are in very pivotal times, and there's a massive shift going on. And we've all felt it. It feels like shit, doesn't it? But we're also beginning to feel that, yeah, something is going on. A little bit more clarity, perhaps, you know. So now is definitely a time to, you know, with patience and diligence and lots of self-love and self-care, to venture into it deeper, you know. And if you perceive yourself making a mistake, then know that it's not really a mistake. Remember, everything and all is utilized. I had a cigarette yesterday, and then I thought, oh, but I had a cigarette. And then old styly, and then, oh, no, we're not doing that. Because you know what? My body probably needed some nicotinic acid. And because I never really You know, it's that guilt and self-flagellation bollocks that makes us suffer for all these perceived mistakes, when in fact, you know, mistakes are very important for learning, and it's perfectly fine, people, it is. So go gently and love yourselves, you know. Just wrote down, I said, we are pure. We always are pure, we always have been pure, we always were. You know, and everything else is complete lie, and it's the iconic mind parasites, because they want to live, they need to live in that environment, and they've been using us against ourselves. Now the minute we figure that one out, and we stop playing that game, and we start to love ourselves, and we start to forgive and let go, and allow that energy of love to work the magic, and we stop reacting to everything out there, oh, and who, and how, and how, and we start to let the power of love work its way through, we'll start to see stuff happen. I know, because, and I've got a friend who does this, and it works really well for her as well. We're here, we're on a mission, you know, so those mind parasites, evil, the darkness, call it what you will, we were given to believe that evil is more powerful than the light. That is a massive program that's run the show for a very, very long time. Religion has a lot to do with reinforcing that particular meme. It's actually, again, it's bullshit, it's nonsense, it's gaslighting nonsense. Evil is not powerful at all. Look what the fuck it needs to do. It needs to go in there and control, manipulate, and do all that to get us to create its environment for it. It can't even come in and do that itself. It's a parasite, and it's a sickness, and it's not very powerful at all. The light is much more powerful now, and it's getting bigger and more importantly powerful by the day. But it's up to us to be conduits of that power, of the power of love, conduits of the Great Mother. That's why we're here. Anyway, that's it for today, people. That's all I wanted to say. So any awful, horrible feelings that come up, just feel them. Don't go into it. By that I mean don't believe, oh, it's true. They're not true. They're all illusions. They're all lies that you've been programmed to believe and feel all your life. So that ain't going to shift overnight. So yes, we have our work cut out for us, but provided that with diligence and patience and a great deal of self-love, we stick with it, we will get there more and more and more. We were always beautiful and precious and pure. Anything else is just an illusion. Okay? Happy Eostre.